Looking for more heists for your dragon heist, or maybe just your regular campaign? Well, this time on my DM's Guild review series, we're going to be going over Handful of Heists. I think the name explains itself. Alright guys, here we are on the DM's Guild here, looking at a Handful of Heists by Jimmy Merritt. You can see it's 5-star rated, 21 ratings, as a best gold seller. It came back out in March of this year. I will say this was provided to me for a review copy, and if this kind of design looks familiar to you, well, we did review Here's to Crime, a guide to capers and heists, which was a guide basically how to run capers and heists, how to add a unique mechanic and make those more interesting in any 5th edition game. So what we have here is Handful of Heists. It's specifically, I also really like this. I just want to point out this page is intentionally left awesome as opposed to left blank like it usually is. So anyway, we have a little bit up here up front. Again, I'm not going to go through everything as I always state, because this one I did forget how much it was on the DM's Guild. That's not the right thing. It is here. It is $4.95 on the DM's Guild, so I don't want to discourage you from picking it up, but if you want to do so, I will go over one. So it says what you'll need to play. It builds on situation, characters, and settings presented in Dragon Heist. Although Dragon Heist is not necessary to play it, you'll find this book flows very easily if placed into the campaign. If you're not playing Dragon Heist, these adventures will be set in generic Fantasy City, and you'll want to take some time before running the adventures to adjust the lore for your setting. This uses monsters from the Monster Manual, Vol's Guide, and Dragon Heist, the book itself. Page numbers for each and their respective source have been placed in the parentheses. Creatures found in Vol's Guide and Dragon Heist have also been placed in the index. Some magic items referenced are found in the Dungeon Master's Guide, the page numbers given in parentheses. So, I like this section too, Railroad with off-ramps. The challenge of creating simple pick-up play adventures is that keeping an adventure too simple creates railroaded adventures, meaning you can't really choose where players want to go. To combat this, I've written it in a style I like to call Railroads with off-ramps. Characters go through the adventure, but there are certain contained moments where the players are presented with a problem that gives them a huge opportunity to roleplay and problem solve. This gives the players and the DMs a chance to improvise and add their own creativity to the adventure. For example, in the Tower Heist adventure, characters need to get an NPC to say code word. I give a few basic details about the target and a few rough ideas for if the players get stuck, but the goal with this segment is to give the DM a chance to sit back, let the characters make a crazy plan, and give them the chance to take ownership over the story. Moments like these are the things great table stories are made of. So, well, that's just individual pages. All right, so what we're going to do is you'll see some of them have maps, and here they all are, right? Cavern of the Sunken Queen, Lock Blocker, Husteam's Vault, It's Always Sunny in Waterdeep, and Tower Heist. I think we're going to do Lock Blocker because it's a con-based heist, and I think that that's interesting and may have a better chance to slot into any adventure. So we're going to jump right over here to that. Con, the Lock Blocker. Sir Engelbert, I said that weird, is a drunk, arrogant blowhard with a treasure chest full of gold. Due to an enchantment, the only way to open it is to have Engelbert give away its key of his own volition. Engelbert is easily conned, but his savvy squire, Brecca Owlcloak, a halfling paladin, keeps a close eye on him. Characters must drive a wedge between them and Engelbert and his squire so they can con the key out of him. So that, first of all, unique idea. I like the concept of it. This, again, it doesn't have to be these characters, but this could be easily drag and dropped anywhere in any campaign. So we have some hooks here. A benefactor is interested in hiring the character for future work and is using this as a test to see if they're capable. Brecca's family contracts the character. Her parents are concerned that she's been taken in by Engelbert and wants the characters to sour their relationship. Characters over here, other scoundrels talking shop. Several criminals have failed to pull the job. Or for faction quests, an item of importance to the faction is inside the chest. So here's some background on Engelbert himself. He's gaudy, shiny armor, waves around his well-polished sword, but rarely used. Every evening he drinks in the Yawning Portal, or insert tavern here. While drunk, he tells tales and tries to convince everyone around him that he was once a great hero. 2 drinks in, he comes across as charming. As the night goes on, most become annoyed by his arrogance and shortening fuse, but they still stay within earshot since he's willing to throw coin around. And here we have Brecca's information here. Let's see. The halflings were defended by Angleberts, not him specifically, in times of old due to an ancient treaty. Treaty demands that an owl cloak must accompany and travel with an Engelbert knight once they become of age. Most owl cloaks consider this a token agreement, but Brecca was raised on stories of sweeping adventure. She is naive and considers Engelbert a storybook hero. It's not a romantic interest, but she is taken by him, and she's fiercely protective. So it is well known that Engelbert has a chest in his house containing a fair amount of gold and treasure. However, to discourage thieves, his method of protecting it is also well known. The key has a magical lock which can only be opened by a key. The key must be magically attuned to its holder, and the key will not attune to someone who the key was not given to willingly. The key will also not open the lock if it is done through duress. Driving a wedge here, right? To get easy access to Engelbert, Brecca has to be shaken off the notion that Engelbert is a legendary hero. Once 3 doubts have been successfully planted in her mind, she will become cynical and give a wide berth to potential con artists. So here are some options here. While Engelbert is telling a story, a successful history check can poke holes in it, instilling 1 doubt in Brecca. A successful performance check can make other characters, bar tall tales, more appealing than Engelbert's, outshowing him will sow another doubt. Characters may attempt to prove Engelbert is a coward by goading him into going into Undermountain. We're in the Yawning Portal, so that makes sense, or whatever other scenario. If Engelbert is sober, he will come up with a half-hearted excuse to not go, instilling 1 doubt in Brecca. If Engelbert is drunk, he can be persuaded to go into Undermountain. At the first sign of trouble, he will run at the DM's discretion. This alone could still enough doubts in Brecca for her to become jaded. Murdering Brecca. Some especially bloodthirsty parties may decide murdering her is easier, probably, if you're that kind of a party. Although this, of course, she's young and easy enough to kill. However, remember that this is an urban environment, so the murder will be investigated. The city guards will take an extra interest in anyone cozying up to Engelbert once Brecca is out of the way. In addition to this, Brecca's parents will hire the Tiger's Eye Detective Agency, which is in Dragon Heist, page 32, to investigate the murder. If the parents are convinced the characters murdered Brecca, they will give their findings to the town guards first, and place a bounty on them. Benefactors and other criminals will be unimpressed by characters who accomplish the con in this way because killing Brecca was easy, but you still get paid. The score. If Brecca becomes cynical of Engelbert, she dives into Undermountain, off to become a legendary hero for herself. If you're running Mad Mage after Dragon Heist, she can potentially become an NPC ally in the lower levels, or an especially cruel DM may have characters stumble across her body. Engelbert is easy pickings once Brecca is out of the way. He is desperate for friendship and adoration, and once drunk and unguarded, he tends to brag about a book he is writing. The manuscript is kept in his chest, and it is a simple matter to talk Engelbert into inviting them home. Clever characters could be in Engelbert's home from an invite, but it's also possible that characters could break in. Security is light, the lock can be picked without a roll, but a DC 15 check allows characters to break with no signs of entry. Engelbert's home is well decorated, and the walls are filled with paintings of himself, commissioned by himself. Once the chest is open, characters find a fine silver goblet worth 200 gold, assorted gems worth 800, and a manuscript of Engelbert's book. The manuscript is well written and can be sold to a publisher. Characters will get a royalty payment of 40 gold pieces every 3 months. The payments would be more, but the publishing guild takes 50% cut. Conclusion, characters should be able to make an easy enough escape. Once Engelbert sobers up and realizes he's been robbed, he will go to the city guard. But due to the nature of his enchanted key, no charges will stand up in court. The box wouldn't have opened if Engelbert hadn't wanted it to, after all. So that's it, guys. That's just one of 5 heists in the Handful of Heists document. I wanted to go with the con one because it doesn't have a map, and it's less campaign specific and something you could really throw in anywhere. And the idea of conning someone out of their gold, and again, you could obviously up or down play however you want to do this, increase the treasure, whatever the case may be. It has a good place to be slotted in just about any campaign. So let me know what you guys think of a Handful of Heists. You can pick it up at a link down in the description, and it is an affiliate link. So if you'd like to pick it up and you use the link below, Nerd Immersion gets a little chunk of that, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, be sure to throw a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you want to see more Dungeons & Dragons content like this in the future. I will see you guys at the next DM's Guild review.